welcome to Podcask. What number is it? Is it number 20? Is it 21?
21.
Wow.
21. Getting old. We're getting old.
So, in case you didn't know, I'm Bilko.
I'm Brenny.
Tonight we're going to indulge in another variety of German lager stroke beer, and it is the world famous, the world renowned Helles Lagerbier, however you want to call it. Listen, we're going to just batter straight in. If you've been watching the show, no frills tonight. Let's just get it cracked, my man.
A wee drinking session. It's all pretty similar, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to a few beers tonight. And obviously, it's one of my favourite styles of beer just to drink on a daily basis. I really think you get good value for money on it.
Absolutely.
And it's absolute for me this is my go-to daily beers. Obviously I don't drink daily, folks, but if I am drinking daily, this is the go-to stuff. So big cheers there, Bilko.
Cheers, my man. Smells bloody wonderful.
The Pollina's one that I've not really had much of. I did actually buy a couple of the bigger bottles. You'll notice, folks, this is a smaller bottle. One of our local stockists only has the smaller bottles of it for some reason. So we just thought we'd pick them up just because we were in the same place. But it's a spot. It's crisp.
It is crisp,
crisp taste it.
Crisp.
Nice and fresh.
So if you're unaware of what type it is, it's a Polliner Müncher Hell. It's a Munich lager. It's discussed as being a true classic of quintessential Munich and Bavarian food and drinks. Clear and sparkling bright gold in the glass. Water malted barley hops. Hot varieties, Hallteuer tradition. Going to have to excuse our German tonight, ain't we, mate, already?
Aye.
And malt varieties are Pilsner malt, light barley malt, and Munich malt, which is a dark barley malt. There's nutritional facts. The website's polana.com if you want to have a look at it. But Brenny, this is already, it's just a Friday night. It's a Friday night sesh beer, innit?
Definitely.
Aye.
Definitely. I mean, all the beers that we're drinking tonight are all from the Bavaria area. So that's like southern Germany. And it's a real classic down there. You know, it's as famous, their hell beer is as famous as the Czech lager. And it really is a distinct taste. It's crisp as anything, fresh as anything. Just really gets down well. It's a completely different. I mean, considering we did the dipper the other night, which we both really scored highly. But this is a completely different style of beer. A lot of folk were saying. I mean, even I was over talking to Paul today outside his, and he was saying that he can't drink this now because he finds it tasteless. But that just shows you how many IPAs and NIPAs and dippers and West Coast IPAs he's been drinking that he finds it tasteless, you know. So
yeah. I mean, Brenny, the fact you've touched on it there about it being a real traditional 1634 established. That says it all. 4.9% ABV, and I've deliberately kicked off with the smaller bottle tonight because the other ones are higher. And mate, I can see what Paul says. That's one of the Jake balls, isn't it?
Yep. One of the Jake balls on Facebook. A great page to follow, guys, if you're looking for good beer reviews. They're doing it daily. They're a big, they're a conglomerate of a few folk who are all drinking on a daily basis. So you'll get good fresh beer reviews of everything that's going. And as you can tell by the name, Jake Balls, they don't take themselves too seriously either.
They don't. Are funny guys, man. But I can get where you're coming from with the putties coming, those IPAs, Imperial numbers. But mate, I have been looking forward to it because we've had it planned for a while. It's a Friday night beer, and I'm telling you, mate, I could honestly stank that. So bearing that in mind, mate, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to go in with the scores tonight. Now, I hope you don't mind, mate. I know you, obviously there's a beer coming up you really like, so I'd like you to go first tonight, if that's all right, mate.
I sure no bother at all. So with the buy again, that's a definite. I've actually only bought this week to test it out, and I actually bought a couple more just because I actually did really like it. And it's a wee bit cheaper. Value for money wise, you're getting, I mean, you do get good deals on this beer. You can pick it up for £2 a bottle, some places. Obviously, I think it's bigger supermarkets that are doing it at that price, but you're picking it up for less than £3, around about the 250 mark. I think that wee smaller bottles even about £2. I'm not sure, can't even remember because I bought it with a bigger carrier. But value for money wise, I think it's a really good beer. Really clean, really crisp, really nice beer. Would I session it? Definite. I've been lucky enough to be in Munich, and I've been in the Polliner Brauhaus, and that's all I was drinking. So again, I would happily sit and drink that in session. And schools on the doors. I really like this style of beer. I find it really hard to criticise it because it's just one of my favourite styles. I'm going to give that a good 8 out of 10 to start.
Aye, all day long, mate. Agreed, mate. Brilliant score. So yeah, no faffing about tonight, mate. Would I buy it again? 100%. Buy it again. What you've said there, fantastic value for money. I did see it when I picked up a Podcask beer, the McKellar heated seats. I did notice that Marks and Spencer's were selling that. I think it was £2.50 for a bottle, and that was a bigger bottle. So aye, brilliant. So yeah, definitely buy again. Would I sesh it? 4.9%. 100% sesh. It's a great sessionable beer. Love it. Love to try it on tap. I'd love to be over in Munich, mate, having a wee bit of that.
That's another one for the plans when we're unlocked.
Score wise, it's solid, mate. It's solid. I'm still going to be generous, but not quite as generous as yourself. I'm going to give that a 7.75 out of 10, mate.
Oof, that's high for you for the first beer.
As it's also my first beer of the day as well. So
you've done well. I've got to confess, I had a couple over in Paul's garden, just because I had walked 7.5 k to get there through Pollock Park today. So I feel as if I deserved a wee beer. So I had two with him, and then I walked home again, which was only 6 k because I avoided the park. But I was tired by the time I got in. I have to admit, I don't usually feel too tired walking, but I was really tired today, I have to admit. So I think the 2 beers maybe had something to do with that as well.
Some shift, mate. Listen, mate, we'll give that a massive cheers, won't we? Cheers. So we're on to beer number 2. We're doing a couple of different ones here, mixing it up a wee bit. So I've got now, Brenny, before we say it, I always called it Tegernseer, but it's, how do you pronounce it?
Tegernseer.
This is a staple of just about every carry-out I buy. The wee beer shop. If I'm looking for an extra wee value beer to buy, I'll never buy this or an Augustiner or something like that. And
Have you noticed what I've done?
Oh, you've got a different one.
I've lifted the special.
Oh well.
It's the same brewer. I've obviously just went in and no looked. I've just picked them up. They usually sit beside each other, and I usually pick the other one, but I picked the right one up. Sorry about
that. That's fine, mate. I do know if you go into, some of the local stockists, the SAS, for example, on Pollock Shores Road, as opposed to Kilmarnock Road. But in there, mate, they've got a really good variety up the back left corner, aren't they? So without further ado, need to pick a glass for this one.
Looking forward to this.
So they're describing it as a lager and hybrid beer on some of the popular websites. Brewery, Tegernseer, 4.8%, 500ml. Best served at 4 to 7 degrees. We have had this one before, viewers. But this was more an episode about maybe turning you on to some value for money, good lager beer type varieties. And for me, it doesn't get better than this. So cheers, big man.
Cheers.
Do you like the glass, Brenny? I've still got yours.
Nice one, mate. Is that the one JB quotes?
Aye, JB. So cheers again, JB.
I'll maybe pop up tomorrow because I've got a couple of cans for you anyway.
Sounds good, mate. I'll have this ready for you. Oh, that is just refreshing, man. Looks like you've got quite a bit of carbonation going on in yours, mate.
Maybe that's a special.
This beer just makes me want to go to Bavaria, man. That's what it does. It's so light, crisp, smooth, and it's just a slightly malty taste to it as well. Oh, it just is superb, mate.
I don't have.
It's so light, man. Now I know you obviously you know this beer quite well, the Tegernseer Hell. Initially, is there a lot of difference between that and the special, would you say, that you're drinking?
It's not a million miles of difference. The price is probably the difference. I think for some reason it's like about 49p more in both wholesales that I know that have it.
Okay.
I would say it's probably a wee bit more carbonated than the standard. And it's not as malty. It isn't as malty. If anything, I would describe it, the specials is more a traditional lager rather than the hell. But very similar, very similar. I don't think there's too much in it. I would probably say the carbonation is the biggest difference, which makes it seem fresher. Bubbling away, and it's a cracking beer. Both versions of it are cracking. And you know that I buy I buy both of them actually.
How would you that?
We're actually blessed with the amount of places that stock it. I mean, you've got loads of places in the south side of Glasgow now. Just your standard off sales. I mean, it's great that the bottle shops are still there, but I mean, just standard offies that operate proper off sales hours are doing fantastic beers, especially German stuff. I mean, you can pick up pretty much any German beer you're looking for, which is great.
That is great, mate. I was going to ask you a question, and the viewers, and I'm hoping I've not done a massive amount of research, but see the Hell style. Is that a locality type of thing? Is it just that area that produce that type? Because I've
certainly most of the brewers that seem to produce it are in the Bavaria area, which is unique and close to the Czech border. So I don't know. You would need to probably speak to Bruce for a distinct one on it, but it certainly seems to be a Bavarian sort of product. Whether it's actually got a Bavarian tag to it. Remember the Zoigl that we tried? More of that is very specific to a certain five villages of it, but I think it's a bit more widespread across Bavaria.
We've actually got one of the bottles we've got coming up later on is actually from Bamberg, which is one of the Zoigl brewers, but I don't know if they do a Zoigl, the Schlenkerla, or Schlenkerla, we'll have fun and games pronouncing that. But just to get back to it again, it's just a solid beer, ideal Friday night beer, ABV I think on it, don't know what in fact, right, this is coming in at 4.8, is the special maybe a wee bit stronger than that perhaps?
It's 5.6.
There you go. There's your 50.
I've done a quick Hells or Hell is a traditional German pale lager beer produced chiefly in southern Germany, particularly Munich. The German word for hell can be translated as bright, light, or pale.
There you go.
There we go.
There we go. I did notice as well, what I like as well, a lot of the British brewers, there's a lot of them do their own wee style of Hells, you know, Donzo, and some of the Aldi ones, sometimes you'll get wee Hells for one of them out in Aldi as well. So if you see that, viewers, you know you're going to get a crisp, smooth, light, pale, Friday night type of beer, mate. That's stunning, mate. Listen, no faffing about, mate. I'm ready to go in with the scores.
Yep, no bother. Want me to go first again?
Aye, go for it, mate.
So I really enjoy that. I'm going to score it a wee bit higher than the Polar. I'm going to go 8.25. Would I buy again? Definitely. Would I say yes? There's just no do. I mean, you can basically put a Hell on any bottle, and I'd be like happy. I mean, I really would. As long as it does what it's supposed to be, the Hell's taste, I would be delighted because it's so smooth, it's so nice, refreshing, bright, lifts you up, total sensible beer that if we were getting that as a pint, I would be jogging more to the pub than I already usually do on a Friday night. So, yeah, definitely drink again in 8.25. I think it's a stunning beer.
That is, mate. Listen, no faffing, mate. It's buy again, yeah, buy it already would do, buy it all the time. Sesh, yes. I've never actually had a massive sesh on that again. Love to try it on tap one night. That would be the ultimate for me. And I'm going to score it higher than and I'm actually going to score it higher than you as well, mate, because it's one of my favourite varieties of this beer. I'm not going to go completely higher than you, mate. I'm just going to give it an 8.3.
Fair enough.
And I tell you, bud, I can't wait to the day that we're sitting in the boozer in Munich or in Bavaria and we'll be stanking hunters of these, won't we, mate? Cheers.
Cheers.
We don't want to get bogged down in hunters of shout outs and all that, but we have been talking off camera. We'll give one guy a particular shout out, JMacFitness. We've mentioned him in the show before. He's been helping me with a wee bit of fitness, etc. I'm going to link to him on here. Probably the opposite of what we do in terms of, but through these chats, it's all about balance is one of these key things. And if you're looking after yourself physically, then it'll allow you to maybe enjoy the wee beer or two. Don't know if you want to add anything on to that, mate.
He's a really good guy. He's dedicated to helping people, and he's got a real passion for it. He's a really positive person. He's a good friend of mine now. I was lucky enough to meet him through a friend of mine, Liam's, who me, Liam and James all did the Dublin half marathon, and Alan was doing his first half marathon that day. He was a friend of Liam's already, so we'd already arranged to fly over and we'd a crack and that's the balance, you know. You go and do a half marathon and then spend the rest of the day drinking Guinness and eating well. So I had a really good day in Dublin with him that day, and I've been a pal of him ever since, just in the group chats. We've got plans to meet up. I think I'll actually be in a Zoom room tomorrow night with him and James and Liam and another boy, Michael. So he's a great guy, a lot of time for people, and if you follow his channel, interact with him, I'm sure he'll interact back, and he's got a real passion for it. He's got cracking plans for folk. He's got a real passion for helping folk get from ground zero to starting out, and full of encouragement, and that's exactly what you need when you're looking for a help along in the face for anybody. That is anybody. Okay, doc. So beer number 3 is the Augustiner Lagerbier Hella. This for me, I've tried loads of times. This is a go-to beer. I buy this every week in great quantities. It's a really good beer. It's just, I'm not overhype it. So we'll just get cut to the chase and open it and start talking about it.
Cheers, big man.
My glass. You notice my glass, all the Munich breweries on that.
I thought you would be using that glass.
I've saved it especially, mate. Saved it especially.
I've done a wee bit of Bilko here.
So have I, actually. Protecting the beer.
Yeah, while we're reloading, while it's fixing that, mate, this is actually the second time it's been mentioned on the old podcast, mate.
Aye.
Because we've done the test podcast, and right at the tail end of it. I'll pull the rest of mine in, mate, shortly, all right? But
right, cheers.
Man. Oh, it's a belter of Steiner you've got there, mate.
For me, this is the perfect, best example of how beer. It really sums it up for me. It really does everything that you want for a beer. Just clean as a whistle, dead light, packs a punch at 5.2. It's just, I would actually love to be in Augustiner Brauhaus just off the Marienplatz at the moment, because it was one of my favourite places. There's a classic photograph of me when I was there with my ex-wife Michelle for Oktoberfest, and I am just so gone with drinking Oktoberfest beers that I was on the draft Augustiner lager, and honestly, I'm just pinged with it. I mean, I'm just so happy that I'm drinking a light beer, because I've been drinking all sorts all day, you know.
Now, you'll need to tell us a wee bit about, obviously you were over there for Oktoberfest, and I mean, this comes in, I mean, you get this, between, if you have a wee shop around, buy it online, you may get it £2.80, £3, £3.50. What about then? But what I mean, how expensive is this in Germany?
But our local SaaS store sells it at £2.85, which I think is phenomenal value.
Wow.
If you're buying bulk, you're looking, there's places you can get it for near enough £2 for a case of 20 delivered. They'll also take your empties away when you get your next delivery. So there's places that do that. If you want to know where they are, just knock us up on the channels. I don't want to really advertise buying bulk off suppliers, just for the reason that they are suppliers to the trade. But we will tell you who it is if you are interested, if you want to get interactive on it. But primarily we're here to promote our local brew shops, our beer shops, and generally we're trying to promote good beer in good places all around Glasgow. So I think we would be doing a disservice to tell you that you can get it really big bulk. Put it this way, I don't buy bulk, because if I had it there, I would drink it. So I generally just support my local office.
Yeah.
There's two within a half-mile walk for me that both supply it at decent prices. One does it at £2.85, the other one does it at £3.19. And looking on beermerchants.com, which is a site I've got up for it, they're doing it at £3.20.
Mm-hmm.
So they're giving you a discount for 12. If I buy a 12, you get 9% off, it's £2.90. So that gives you an idea, but there is cheaper places now you can get it. If you want to know where it is, just knock us up on Twitter or YouTube, comment, whatever. We'll answer you, we'll give you a bit of insight in there. But it's fantastic. I mean, for me, it's my go-to beer. I probably buy this every time I'm in a shop that sells it, and I buy it in multiples. So I think I can't say more than that. It's just crisp, light, served cold. When you were saying yours has been in the fridge for a few days, is it tasting good?
Oh, it's phenomenal, mate. It's so mild, it's so light. It sparkles, man.
It does.
Sparkles away. It says on their website, which is Augustiner-broy.de, refreshing, easily digestible at the same time, uniquely in its taste, a benefit for each beer connoisseur. So obviously it was made for us, mate, wasn't it? You know, we are connoisseurs.
And you were talking earlier on about how old Polliner was. The Augustiner brew was founded in 1328.
Wow, man.
I mean, it's Bavaria, the Bavarian history of brewing beer is incredible. I mean, it really is. It's part of their life. That and the Czechs. I mean, I really do think at one time in my life I'm going to actually try and live over in Germany for a bit, because the idea, they seem to I just seem to resonate with what they like. They treat this stuff as if it's just wow. Do you know, like, because it's so much part of their lifestyle, going for a beer like that, and they don't even see it as alcohol. They think alcohol's like your whiskies, vodkas, schnapps. They just see this as, it's just a couple of beers, big deal. You know? Whereas you get a jail in the street, you get caught with a bowl, you know?
Aye, I think Baxter's liking the old sound of it, and he's well chilled out, isn't he?
He's definitely chilled out. He must be smelling the fumes.
Oh, it's so good, mate. And again with these beers, I know it's a wee bit further up to the other ones I've tried. I think anyway at 5.2%, but it's just so clean, man. I used to actually think I preferred the Tegernseer a bit when a Tegernseer, but when this one's been sitting in the fridge, just sitting there, and I've known it's been there all week, mate. You know what I mean? I bought mine at the wee beer shop when the wee beer shop was open. I like the fact that he's like that. What's my most popular beers? Right, man, it's this. You know what I mean? And I just, mate, I do really like it. I think before we do the scores, mate, we've touched on this many times, but Brenny, you've obviously been over there in Germany. How much is it for a bottle of this in Germany?
When I was there, it was 80 cents. Granted, that's maybe about 7 years ago. And I was over for Oktoberfest. And what I noticed is that the Marienplatz is the main square in Munich, and there's this wee glockenspiel sort of timer that comes out.
It's like every hour?
every hour, eyes plays a wee tune and it goes. It's honestly the crappiest thing that I've ever seen, because it doesn't work half the time. It's even funnier because the tourists all cram in to see it, but you've got all these old jakies, like just normal Germans, you know, and what they do is there's fountains, and in the fountains they take the bottles out, chilled bottles, and they put them into the fountains, and just 80 cents a bottle, 80 cents a bottle.
Wow.
And they're just left, they're just happy sitting in the sun, tanning their bottles all day, you know, it's cool as anyone. It really is, because the attitude towards them is that they're not doing any harm, they're not causing any harm, they clean up their bottles, they take their bottles back, because do you know what? They actually get their money back on their bottles, which revolutionary that, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Revolutionary. I mean, at a very basic level, we are so far behind in everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I put my bottles into the recycling. It doesn't even get lifted for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like,
Brenny,
I would happily take them back to the retailer.
Wash your bottles. Keep your bottles for Bilko's.
Well, that's right. Oh, I'm forgetting the homebrew. The Bilko Blonde's coming soon, isn't it? Bilko Blonde.
Bilko Blonde, but mate, see what you were saying there. I'm laughing there just thinking of that Marienplatz. It's like they probably get all the tourists there and they realise, oh, we've got a good crowd here today. The guys like that, nah, don't put it in, so as they hang about for another hour, spend the money.
Sure, there might be something in that, because I think I was there for 3 different occasions and I didn't see it come at once.
Are you ready?
I'm ready to score, so would I buy it?
Right, can I just answer it for you? Brenny's a walking advert for this type of beer.
I'm a bit of a walking advert, I tell you. It's my favourite beer, right? There's no two. It's my favourite beer.
Yes.
Buy again, yes. Score-wise, you know, I've got 2 more, and out of the 2 more, I've only not tried one. So, with that in mind, I'm going to get a 9 out of 10. It's my favourite.
I knew it, mate. That is a fantastic score.
It's a 9 out of 10. It's my favourite beer.
So, me, buy again, yes. Buy it. I've already bought it several times. Sesh, 100% yes. Fantastic session beer. Lives up to the hype that we're giving it. Score-wise, I'm not going to be as generous as you, because I know this is probably your favourite style, and it's one of my favourite styles as well. Not going to be quite as generous as a Lagerbier hell. For me, it is probably the best out there. In fact, Brenny, before I score this, because we have been talking about this in some of the group chats as well, we don't want to get too bogged down in the scores we give, because as a Lagerbier hell, probably that is a 9 out of 10, dare I say it. But in the whole scheme of things, does that mean it's better than, for example, the Putty or the Imperial?
I think I'm not even comparing it to anything like that.
Exactly. So
I'm giving my verdict on what I think of that beer as a standalone beer. Yeah. I'm not comparing it to any IPAs or dippers or anything like that, because you can't. I don't think it's fair to compare them. That's a totally different style of beer. So you can enjoy Putty and score it the same as what you would score that, is the way I see it. And I think I could have. The thing about Putty in that is, remember, they're all limited releases. You're only going to get so much, whereas you get that every single day of your life.
So, bearing that in mind, viewers, you know, it's just in case MD says, oh, but you get that a 9 and you get all that. The bottom line is this: value for money, box ticked; taste, box ticked; sessionability factor. Brenny, it is unbelievably tannable, man. Isn't it? It's a 9 out of 10 for me as well, Brenny.
Oh! Ding, 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 ding. Actually, mate, so I went up by Mount Florida the day, and I meant to go into the wee hardware store and get us a bell for last orders. I forgot all about it.
Oh, but we should get a wee one, because
I'll get one.
Now we've cleared up the scoring procedure. It's for that style of beer, definitely 9 out of 10. We could argue it could be higher than that, but 9 out of 10. Brenny, I have to say to you, mate, this is a humongous.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So beer number 4 is the Ayinger Lager Hell. It's the typical everyday drinking Bavaria together with wheat beer. This is the München Heller style. It's the most famous beer style in the Bavarian South. As people in Bavaria are very demanding as far as their daily drink is concerned, the brewers are very aware of the necessity to brew a yellow golden beer with a light malt taste. It's crisp, smooth and mellow, a perfectly balanced taste and aroma. It's often used for cooking and can be paired with many typical Bavarian dishes, like, for example, beef, pork, cold meat, radish, and brezen. There we are. So, without much further ado, let's get this cracked on. Have you tried this before?
I've never tried this one before, mate.
I've had a few.
Looking forward to it. 4 points.
Yeah, I've had a few, and I honestly don't really remember what I thought of them previously. So I'm going to just go this as if I've never tried it.
Okay. Again, very accessible price-wise. Fine looking beer.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Fine looking beer. Cheers.
Again. It's a wee bit maltier, I think, than the others.
We touch maltier. It won the World Beer Awards Country Winners 2016. It won the Lager Hell Munich Bronze in the World Beer Awards in 2015. And it's a German winner of the Lager Hell's Municher style. I'm not sure what year that is. Maybe that was 2015, sorry.
Well, if the World Beer Awards are watching this, one category that's missing is the old podcasters. And I think we'll all agree that we are the World Beer Awards podcasters of the year 2020, Brenny. Cheers. There's a lot of carbonation going on as well, isn't there?
Aye. It's definitely.
I would say this one looks a wee bit darker as well than the others.
Yeah, I think there's a slightly more malty taste there, I would say, with regards to the other ones. But it's as crisp and as fresh as the other ones as well. So I'm actually quite blown away by it. It's not what I remember the last time I tried it, so I'm quite happy.
Well, it was definitely. You could definitely tell. I'm now beginning to tell these. So that, mate, do you know what this is reminding me tonight? And I don't want to get sentimental again, but anything like that. But it's just reminding us being doing the boozer, man, having a couple of like proper lager beer style, normal beers. Do you know what I mean? Accessible. We obviously we've had a lot of chat off stream and stuff like that. And it's it's good, mate. It is good.
Do you know the one thing I'm really missing? The one thing I'm really missing about going to the pub in general, it's that actual getting in and the thought process. You don't realise how much thought process you put into what you're about to select until you don't actually have the choice. And the thought processes that I used to go through of the excitement of going to the pub. So if I was leaving my work or leaving my home and I was going to the pub, I would be thinking, what am I going to have? I wonder what Dom's going in the cold chipper. I wonder, what am I going to have a tennis? Am I going to have a Guinness? What do I think? And I wouldn't make that decision until I was there. And it would be based solely on what I felt like as soon as I was making that decision when I walked into the bar. And that's what I missed. I missed that ability to just know what you're actually wanting, but getting excited by the fact that you want something anyway. By the time you get there, it's like, exactly. I want that.
Aye, you're in the mood for it.
Aye.
100%, mate.
And I'm missing that and just the whole. I mean, let's not get down that road. It's no changing.
But Brenny, see that thought process you get though, and all that before you, and like that. A lot of that actually happens in the pub, and see just before you get to that thought process, you normally have a wee pint of Hells or something like that, don't you? Just to get you in the mood. This is a real. I just feel that all these styles, it's a right get you in the mood type of beer, isn't it? It's just.
I'll say something for it because I mean this is 4.9%. What I will say about Hells is that I don't particularly think you get that drunk with it.
No.
Right? You do over the course of the evening of drinking more and more of them, but this is your fourth beer in what, an hour and a bit. So we are beginning to feel the effects of it, but not in the same way if you go for the 6%ers. And I know that everybody's sitting there going, what a course, you know, you're drinking more alcohol. And yeah, you are. But there's a certain thing when you have a 6% IPA, you actually feel it straight away. You know, it's like boom, you actually feel that you've had a can of 500ml 6%. Whereas with Hell, it's almost like, you know, it's a creeper upper. It's a creeper upper. It starts. You feel really fresh on it, and for a fourth beer, I'm quite. And I had a couple. It's not my fourth beer, but you know what I mean. It creeps up as opposed to hitting you like a ton of bricks. You'd sit here and drink Hells all day, all night at a pace that you wouldn't be neither here nor there at the end of it.
Agreed.
The good thing about beers in general, everybody's got their own taste and everybody's got their own favourites, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I mean, because I like Augustiner, I don't expect everybody in the world to like Augustiner. I know that Polliner's a massive favourite on there, but that's good because it opens up discussion. And out of the Polliner discussion thread, you should see the amount of recommendations and the sort of different beers that folk have tried, or just by talking and sharing and getting back into what we were talking about all the time about community. You need some sort of, especially in this lockdown, we've lost our hubs of the pub and the social circle that we're all used to, seeing people that you're no pals with, but you still know their name, you still say all right to them. You're missing all that, so get it elsewhere. Try and connect elsewhere.
Definitely, mate. I was talking to my mate Mark actually tonight. He was on his way home for his job, and it was Mark that actually told me about Overtone before we started the podcast. And he was on his way up the bus tonight, man, and I'm like, he'd sent me a picture of you know, that day a tipper, which we'll come to that, you know, later on in the show. But I was like that to him, like, I know you're right in with these quality beers and all that. I'm like, you should get yourself along to SAS stores. And he's like that, I'm on my way there now. And he's like that, I'm like, what are you getting? He's like, oh, I've got a wee short list. And I'm like, mate, he's like, Bilko, I'm justifying it in myself because the pub's shut. So I don't mind getting in and spending a few quid on a couple of right nice beers. You know, maybe buying two really, really nice beers, a couple of kind of, maybe, you know, a couple of Helles or whatever to go on, man. He was so passionate about it. And it's just, and he's like that. He's like, what do you recommend? And I know what he likes. And I'm like, well, you might like this, you might like that. And that's the great thing about talking, mate, and sharing it all and being together as opposed to this cliquiness that you sometimes get. It's all about sharing it and community. And listen, we might not be the coolest guys in the world, but I'll tell you something, mate. We're passionate about this, aren't we, mate? Absolutely passionate about it.
And the only reason we're doing it is for us. And never forget that. We're doing it for us. Like the fact I put it online is a massive, I mean, I don't know why, it took a massive leap of faith for me to actually go, do you know what? I will get involved in it and I will put it online. But at the same time, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy the planning and all that. I enjoy, all right, maybe it is a bit slapdash, but that's just me. But I do enjoy the planning, the execution of it. I mean, you know that I'm totally invested in it. I'm trying to get the equipment to do the editing and whatever else, and get this wee room set up so that I've got a fridge, etc., so that I don't have to walk 10 yards.
Listen, don't kid yourself on, viewers. He's getting that set up so he can make me look like a total fanny.
You talking about?
You look like a total fanny. Right, anyway, with that bombshell, are you ready to score, big man?
Yes, I'm ready to score. You want me to go first again?
Yes, mate.
So I'm really happy with that. I'm really enjoying it. It's would I buy again? It's a definite. It's been one that I've never really. I think the first couple that I had. Do you know? I'm guilty. I'm terrible for this. For drinking at the bottle. I'm really bad for drinking beers with the bottle, and I think that one. I'll still drink Augustiner out of the bottle, I'm telling you. I don't care. I'm like a Munich Jakey. So this is the first time I think I've actually poured it. And I'm really, really happy with it. I'm actually feeling quite guilty about that. So I really should start pouring beers into glasses rather than just drinking with the bottle as is. So would I buy again? Definitely. Would I sesh? Yes, definitely. And my scores, it's actually put me in a wee bit of a position, so I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to give this an 8.4.
And listen, mate, brilliant scoring, big man. Would I buy that again? Yes. Sesh, 4.9%, yes. And I'm in a wee bit of a quandary as well, mate. I'm actually going to revise my score for the Tegernseer. I'm going to put that up to an 8.5 from me earlier. Because I want to give this an 8.2.
Okay.
I revised my score on the Tegernseer. Tegernseer's is good. I've been guilty again, Brenny.
Listen, they're all much a muchness. They're all much a muchness in the style, and I would. Do you know what I would love to do? A blind taste test. Do you know what? Can you tell it's Pepsi? Can you tell it's Coke? Because I'll be honest with you, stick the 5 of these up and unhang these bottles and pour them for me, and I'd probably struggle. I would probably struggle because they're all very similar. They are all very similar. And it's a similar taste, similar style. But you do know what you're pouring, and you do know. And I think I would be able to pick out Augustiner. I would hope so anyway.
This sounds like a challenge. When lockdown's over, man, this is happening, man. The podcast challenge.
We'll get set up. We'll get set up in the cool ship. The cool ship in the corner.
That'd be brilliant, mate. So I think we'll agree. How do you pronounce it? Is it Ayinger?
Ayinger. Cheers.
So, beer number 5. And what has been a thoroughly enjoyable lockdown Friday night.
Very good one.
In fact, that reminds me, Brenny, actually, just off stream there, I was getting hundreds of notifications in my phone. Yep. And there's a guy that's kind of became pals with just through the Scottish beer community, which is a new...
on Facebook. Aye. I've seen
Greg Mason. I think he made a friend requested you as well. Really interesting guy. Obviously, absolutely loves his beer. But he does a thing called Friday Night Lockdown Beer Club. It's on his Facebook, Greg Mason. We might link to that. And just what is it that you want to do? We want to be free. We want to be free to do what we want to do. We want to get loaded. We want to have a good time. We know what song that's from. So yeah, check out Greg Mason. He does a Friday night beer club. Boom.
Lovely.
Yep. So anyway,
you tune into that after we finish this.
What I might do is take away some artistic shots of the beer, which we're renowned for. So the last beer tonight is Schlenkerla Helles. It's brewed with fine Bavarian aroma hops from the area around the city of Nuremberg. It's actually, it says here, Brewery Heller Bamberg, which is the same town as Ganstaller. Schlenkerla Helles is boiled in the same copper kettles and bottom fermented by the same yeast as a historic Schlenkerla smoke beer. Its subtle smokiness without using smoked malt makes Helles Schlenkerla lager a unique representative of the classic lager beer style Bavarian Helles. I can't read. Do you know how strong this one is, Brenny?
It's 4.3%.
Oh, perfect.
A wee bit weaker.
Perfect. Nice wee into the night then.
A nice wee into the night. Also, I think we've got a wee kick with I think there's been an element of the copper tanks of the Roch beer. So I'm expecting a wee bit of a smoke to this. So I'm looking forward to it because I quite like, remember the Mars that we had for the Ganstaller?
Absolutely.
Very smoky. I'm thinking it's going to be along the same lines as that, but in a lager style. It's actually lighter than what I thought it was going to be, Bilko.
I need to watch.
I'm telling you, you need to go. You need to get a couple of nights in the coke shop when it opens back up to learn how to pour a beer.
I can tell you the smokiness is belting at it, man.
I'm not really getting.
I just got the gas there, but so.
All right, okay, I when you took it. Aye, guys, I'm looking forward to this, and that's very light for me. I think that's a very light looking beer. Some of the images online are a lot darker.
Cheers, big man. For anybody that wants to watch the Ganstaller episode, it's on podcast number 17.
Oh my word. Oh my word, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I like that. I like that. That's just
frazzle.
The smokiness here. There's something I really like about that smoky tasting beer. It's really something. I don't know. I never thought I would ever like that, but there's a darkness. I'm enjoying that.
I feel as if I shouldn't like that. It's like the Chipotle one, isn't it? It's just a pure. Mate, I'm with you on that, man. It's so. It's a hint of smokiness. There's hints of smokiness.
Have another drink it because it calms right down. Like that smokiness on a mission. It's not as if it's really the kick off.
Oh, aye.
You get the first taste of it, and then it just sort of calms down into a more lagery taste. It's amazing. That's amazing.
Oh, that is good, mate. That's like your sausage supper after a wee session.
I'm glad they left us to last after it, because I've had a few, and I'm definitely. Once I've had a few, I'm more receptive. But it's still light, it's still crisp.
Aye.
But the funny thing is your initial taste, every time you pick it up, to have the first taste you get the smokiness, but it's not bacon. There is do you know what the dark Marzens that we had, the rocks that we've tried? I've got that pure. Oh, wait a minute, this is fucking smoky bacon crisp. that's more refined, and I think the process is that we use the same copper kettles to then transfer through almost like a rinse to get that. So you're only getting the smokiness. You're not getting. Getting that bacony flavour. There's smokiness, but it's not bacon. If that makes sense. Whereas the rock is smoky bacon crisp.
Aye, the rock's like frazzles. But that's more of a hint of smokiness.
But it's only in your initial tastes every time. So by the time it's been done, like it's the taste in the mouth smoky. But by the time it gets done, it just disappears. It's a normal Lagerbier. Hell, it's fucking brilliant. I'm really liking that.
Yeah, you've summed it up perfectly, mate. It's I'm just going to do it again. Try and give the viewers a hint of this. It's like obviously it's nothing like a sour beer, but the smokiness just hits you like a sour hits you, and then it's boom back down. But you've got a proper lager. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I've even said this.
I've nearly finished mine.
It's that stage to the right, isn't it? It's that stage to the right.
I've just remembered I fucked up the pour, so I've still got a wee bit left. Superb, mate.
No, I'm impressed by that. I'm really impressed by that.
And again, price-wise, I think it was around about the £3 mark.
It's no more than £3 anyway. It's definitely no more than £3 out of SAS.
What I'm intrigued is in their website, which is Schlenkerla.de, and listen, I'll link to the website, all right, but I'll link to it. Now, they appear to basically, they've got the smoked beer Marzen on there, Brenny, smoked beer.
I've just been on.
I'd be intrigued to actually see, how smoky can that be. And this is a pale lager, according to themselves.
I see that.
So
do you want to know if they deliver, if they're still delivering, we'll get a wee order off them.
Aye.
A wee order just to try. Because I would really actually see, having it's mad because that smoked beer isn't what I always. I've tried a few and I've been like, I've obviously picked them out of the, what do you call the fridges and the Allison and that, the help yourself fridges.
Yeah.
You obviously pay for it, but help yourself fridges, whatever they're called. And without looking at the label, because I've been drunk, I've picked a couple of the smoked ones up and I've been like, okay, well. But I think I would really like to know that I'm buying them and trying them and review them as known, because it seems that this is their thing by going through their veins. Because they've got the smoked Mars and the smoked wheat, the smoked Urbock, which is full body bock, double bock. I would like to see that. The Lent beer. Does that mean is that? I'm going to check and see if that's.
Well, it's saying smoked and unfiltered, mate.
I was going to see, was that maybe an alcohol free, but no chance of that. You know, for Lent, for doing Lent. But no, it's 5.9%.
What's interesting, Brenny, here is obviously they've been around since the 14th century. Now, I'm just looking at the dates here. Oh, they're just after 1387. Is the first document? Oh, in fact, listen, I'll definitely link to the website. I would get the viewers to have a look at that because it's got a lot of history, and I think it's fascinating that all of these beers we've done tonight have got huge history. You know, it's just like the Scottish whisky industry, or you know, like even like coffee industry, or certain foods you've got that go back, you know, centuries. I mean, you're talking, you know, it's well, you know, 700 years, mate. What I mean, they've been doing this stuff, and it's like it just shows you. A lot of people think craft beer's just been around for, you know, 20 years.
I think we discussed this on the other pod with Dom and stuff. I think beer has been a big staple of European culture for centuries. I mean, centuries. I think some of the German goes back to like 1028. You know, it's like it's been around as long as wine and whatever else. And I think there's a big thing about like the Dominican friaries and like sort of the religious side of it, where it's been brewed as part of their culture. And it goes back centuries, absolute centuries. It's superb. And it's great that it's still getting brewed in the same places by the same people in the same communities, because that's what it is. It's community. When you go back to it, like all these places, these towns, that's their community beer. Do you know? Maybe not everybody drinks it. Do you know what I mean? But like, it'll be what their town is known for. Therefore, they've got that connection, that affiliation. You know, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It really is, mate. And I love the fact Bamberg, it's on the label. It's like, I mean, it's probably one of these places, if we ever do, you know, go on a wee beer tour of Germany at some point, I'd love to go down to Bamberg, because it sounds as if we could probably go there for a couple of days, go around a couple of breweries and sample the local produce. And, mate, I think as well, food was mentioned earlier on, I think, on it was the last one, wasn't it, the Ayinger? And I think that these beers go hand in hand with food a lot of the time as well, you know, out with a family and all that kind of stuff.
I think we've got to mention this or not. I think we've got to mention this as well, just for one of our pals who's been on the show, Dom. So the first document, 1405, first documentation of the Schlenkerla building as House of the Blue Line.
Unbelievable. I mean, you love that. And in addition to the old records on the estate in Dominica Strasse.
Right. Well, fun has Colin. We
have fun has Colin, man. So there's a wee shout out to Dom, or Saint Dominic, as he's known in Germany. But mate, all joking aside, mate, this is so bloody good, man.
It's not what I'll leave it to the scoring, but I genuinely enjoy that. I think it's a one-off beer just to try it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I wouldn't actually be adverse to having a few of them because it is really nice. There's something about that smokiness that shouldn't be there, but you actually really like it. It's really, especially a few beers in. I think it's something you can appreciate a few. I know it's really timed it. Let's get the scoring done. Let's get the scoring done. So was it me to go?
Aye, on you go, big man.
So would I buy again? I would consider buying it again definitely because I'm really enjoying it. Would I sesh it? I'd try a few. So I would say aye, because it's definitely not unpalatable. It's lovely. I would love to actually be in Bamberg and try every single one of their beers on draft and then finish the night with a session of that. Because by that time, after the smoke, you probably don't even know that was a smoke beer, to be honest with you. Marks out of 10, now that's a bloody hard one. This is a bloody hard one.
Brenny, do you want to hang fire on your score? Right? Hang fire on your score, right? Well, can I go at the same time on it, right? We'll mix it up a wee bit.
Okay.
Right. So, would I buy that again? You know, I would buy that again now that I know I've tasted it and I like it. I do like it. I'd buy it again. I think it's dovetailed nicely in with the selection of hells we've had tonight. Would I sesh it? Regular viewers will know we've moved it from yes or no. We're going to put in few as a score, aren't we, going forward? So instead of saying no.
Oh, but yeah. I still think would you sesh it as a good gauge, right?
Yeah.
Because ultimately having 2 or 3 of them as a sesh.
Well, if that's the case, I would sesh it, right? Yeah. Now, score-wise, mate, this is probably one of the most difficult. We had exactly the same issue, didn't we? When we done that smoke, that rock, bad boy, didn't we? It's like, where are we going to? Do you know what I mean? It's like you're almost scared to do it. But I'm going to put you out your misery, mate. I'm going to score it first, right?
Okay.
Or, in fact, are we going to score it together at the same time?
If you want.
Okay, I'm going to give it an 8.
8.5.
Oh, I thought we were singing.
I'm really enjoying it. I honestly, out of the 5 beers we've had tonight, and I'm going to qualify this by saying I do hold Augustiner on a pinnacle. That's probably as much down to the experience of going to Munich, sampling it in Munich, loving the Augustiner Brauhaus, and being in the Augustiner tent at Oktoberfest. I've got hundreds of reasons that I like Augustiner. That, to me, is the second best beer of the night for me.
Mate, you know what? I would find it hard to disagree with you. But don't get me wrong, mate. There's not one beer tonight scored less than an 8.
They're all crank. I mean,
they are.
The Pollina's probably the one that I've not sessioned enough, and I'm going to make a point of actually getting 8 bottles in and doing a session on it, because I think that's the only way you can really get a good handle on it, because everybody raves about it. But I have to share it. My experience of it has been when I was in Munich. I went to Lowenbrau Brauhaus, I went to Polliner Brauhaus, I went to Augustiner Brauhaus, and out of the 3 of them, the favourite was Augustine. And that's obviously had that lasting effect on me. That is, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, other people have went to Augustine, I probably didn't like it. Other people have went, that's what's up it. And it is, it's how we score it and how we see it. You know, everybody's different. And I'm qualifying this because I know that the Polliner's one of the favourite ones in the Huddle Bowl.
Mate, you don't need, mate.
I think I'm justified much.
Absolutely, mate. But mate, you don't need to qualify anything at the end of the day, mate. It's all about your taste. Do you know what I mean? So
just qualify it in the sense of.
But
there's a million. You like things for a variety of reasons, is what I'm trying to say. And part of it is your experience. So obviously, if I have good experiences in Augustine, I've been to their beer. I've been to their beer tellers, enjoyed them. I've been to their Oktoberfest tent, enjoyed it. I was mad about that weekend anyway, and it was the one that resonated that weekend that I really enjoyed. Plus, also, I got a recommendation for Bruce. So I was always tempted towards it. So, but this is, I mean, this is a fantastic beer. It really is a fantastic beer.
It really is.
Definitely want to try. It's not going to be unusual, but it's definitely up there with one of the beers of the night, without a doubt. Definitely try it, guys.
It says it all, man. Look at my glass.
You really trying it, aye?
Listen, man.
Cheers.
Schlenkerla.
Yep.